The energy of photographs, memories, bonds, and energetic influences. It's a strange feeling when you look at a photo of a family member who has passed away. It's a feeling that's hard to describe, as if the image contains something more than a simple memory. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just memory. There's something in those photographs that seems to transcend time, something that many cultures have tried to explain for centuries. In many ancient traditions, it was believed that an image could hold part of a person's soul, not literally, but as an energetic bond. And if this is true, what happens when we store these photos incorrectly? Photographs are not inert objects. They are silent witnesses to our history, but they can also become anchors that connect us to the past. When we place images of deceased people together with photos of those who are still in this world, a subtle, almost imperceptible, but powerful interference is created. Think about your home. Where are the photos of your deceased family members? In the living room, in your bedroom, on a shelf next to other familiar pictures. If they are mixed in with photos of living people, you may be feeling the effects without realizing it. The energetic influence of photographs. Many people experience inexplicable tiredness, feel empty, unmotivated, trapped in a cycle of melancholy, without knowing why. They go to the doctor, look for answers in their diet, in their routine, but nothing seems to work. However, there is something that few consider: the impact that the objects around them have. Carl Jung talked about psychic energy and how certain symbols can affect our minds on a profound level. And photographs are more than just images. They are symbols loaded with emotional and psychological meaning. Some people say that after they rearranged the photos in their home, they began to feel different. Suddenly, their home seemed lighter, the energy seemed to flow better, and the dark thoughts and unexplainable sadness began to fade away. It's as if, without knowing it, they had closed a door that had been ajar for too long. The bedroom, a sensitive place. Sleeping next to a photograph of someone who is no longer here is one of the worst things you can do from an energetic point of view. Night is a time of regeneration during sleep. The body and mind recover energy, but if there is a photo of someone who has gone next to your bed, that energy can stagnate. Some people report persistent insomnia for no apparent reason. Others say they wake up tired, as if they had not rested at all. There are those who assure that they have had strange, intense dreams, full of presences that they cannot explain. What happens when a photo falls for no reason? When a frame breaks? When a picture tears without anyone touching it? Some beliefs say that it is not a simple accident, but a message, a warning, something that should not be ignored. Jung, studying the collective unconscious, spoke of synchronicity, the idea that certain events are not simple coincidences, but manifestations of something deeper. According to this theory, what we call an accident could actually be a connection between the visible and invisible worlds, a reflection of internal processes that we do not yet fully understand. If that's true, then a photo that breaks might reveal something. But the real question is, what should we do when that happens? How to handle these signals? Ignoring it could be a mistake. Many traditions agree that when a photo of a deceased person gets damaged, the worst thing you can do is simply throw it away. It is not just any object. It is a representation of someone who was here, and improper handling can create energetic imbalances. The best thing to do in these cases is to act with respect. Take the photo carefully, wrap it in a white cloth, thank the loved one for their presence in our lives, and then proceed to free them through fire, burning them with intention as an act of respect and farewell. In this way, we allow their energy to follow its path without getting stuck in our reality. Photographs in the digital age. But here comes another question. If photos have such a strong impact on our environment, what about the images stored on our devices? Today, many people store hundreds of photos on their phones, computers, or even use them as wallpaper. Technology has changed the way we relate to memories, but it has not changed the essence of what they represent. An image remains an energetic bond, regardless of whether it is printed on paper or stored in a digital file. Some people who have used photos of the deceased as wallpaper on their cell phones have reported feeling more tired than usual, having trouble concentrating, or experiencing inexplicable emotions. Others have noted that after repeatedly viewing the images before bed, their nights become restless, filled with confusing dreams. The importance of place. Where we put photos of the deceased can determine the energy that flows in our home and our lives. Although many people display them with the best intentions, they can unknowingly create a heavy environment that affects their well-being. The spaces where we spend the most time absorb and reflect our personal vibration, and when images of those who have left us are too present in these places, it can affect the mood of those who live there. Some families notice that, for no apparent reason, the environment becomes denser, the conversations more melancholic, and the days more tiring. Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious and how certain symbols have a profound impact on our minds. Photographs are just that, symbols that keep alive the representation of someone who is no longer in this world. When they are placed in the wrong place, they can become an energetic bond that, instead of bringing peace, generates an unconscious attachment that prevents progress. In many cultures, it is believed that keeping photos of the deceased in places where people eat, work, or rest can generate a feeling of stalemate in the lives of those who inhabit those spaces. It is not uncommon for people who have lived surrounded by these images to report economic difficulties, family conflicts, or a constant feeling of melancholy for no apparent reason. A harmonious solution. A more harmonious alternative is to dedicate a special space for their photos, a place where they can be without interfering with life. A shelf, an altar, a corner of the house where they are placed with intention, accompanied by candles or significant elements. In this way, an environment of respect and balance is created, preventing their energy from mixing with the daily dynamics of the house. Honoring the memory of your loved ones is a beautiful thing, but doing it consciously is what truly allows you to maintain their legacy without it affecting the lives of the living. It is not about deleting these photos or forgetting, but about understanding that everything has its place, and that balance is the key to a harmonious coexistence between memory and reality. In addition to the location, there is another crucial aspect. Few people know what to do with photos of the deceased when they begin to accumulate, or when their presence begins to generate a feeling of heaviness in the home. When photos start to feel like a burden rather than a memory, it's a sign that it's time to manage them with care and awareness. It's not about throwing them away mindlessly, but about understanding that, just like any other emotionally charged object, there needs to be an intention behind its preservation or disposal. In many spiritual traditions, it is believed that a photo of a deceased person is more than just a piece of paper with ink. It represents a bond, a connection that, if not treated with respect, can keep a certain energy trapped. The process of liberation through fire is simple, but it must be done with respect. Before burning the photo, it is important to hold it in your hand for a moment. Recognize the meaning that person has had in your life, and give thanks for their presence. Then wrap it in a white cloth, and, in a safe place, allow the fire to do its work. Throughout our lives, we accumulate objects that remind us of moments, people, and ages that have marked our history. We keep clothes, inherited jewelry, and, of course, photographs. Each of these objects has an emotional charge, and although they may seem harmless, their presence in our environment can affect our mood, our emotions, and even our health. Jung talked about archetypes and how certain symbols can influence the human psyche in ways that we often don't fully understand. Photographs are a powerful symbol because they capture a moment and transform it into something eternal. And when that moment belongs to someone who is no longer with us, its energy remains in a way that can be subtle but significant. Balance between memory and present. There are people who, without realizing it, organize their homes so that the past continues to have more presence than the present. Photographs of previous generations on every wall, memories of those who have left in every corner. objects that no longer serve any function other than that of remaining in time. These spaces can become dense, as if the energy were trapped in a history that refuses to close. This doesn't mean we should get rid of everything that has sentimental value, but we should learn to give it a purpose. If a photo of a loved one fills us with peace and gratitude when we see it, their presence in our home is harmonious. But if looking at it makes us feel sad, nostalgic, or a constant sense of loss, maybe it's time to rethink its place. Every object, every image, every memory has its own space in our lives. Knowing where to put them and when to let them go is part of the balance we need to live in harmony. An invitation to awareness. If you've ever felt that certain spaces in your home seem heavier for no apparent reason, if you notice that certain photos evoke more sadness than gratitude, or if you simply feel like there's something in the air that doesn't quite flow, it might be time to make some changes. Sometimes, small adjustments can make a big difference in how we feel day to day. And if an image has this much power over the energy of a home, it's worth asking what other things we might be keeping without realizing their impact on our lives. Home is a reflection of who we are and what we carry within. Every object we keep is a piece of our history, and when we learn to consciously choose what we want to keep and what we need to let go, we create an environment in which energy flows freely, allowing us to live with greater harmony and lightness. If this journey through the energy of photographs and Jung's philosophy has resonated with you, I invite you to share your personal experience in the comments. Have you noticed any changes after moving the photos of your deceased loved ones? Do you feel a particular energy in certain places in your home? Don't forget to subscribe to the Soul Flame channel to continue this journey of energetic awareness and spiritual growth together. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next videos where we will explore other aspects of Jungian philosophy applied to everyday life. Remember, true wisdom is not just knowing, but applying what you have understood. The energy that surrounds us is what we create with our conscious choices, day after day. Thank you for sharing this moment with Soul Flame channel. See you in the next video.